Hey guys, Bill, the Kansas Flamingo chef. This is traditional chicken and noodles. Well, my traditional. I'm going to show you how to do it. It's really easy. Step one of cooking this, we got to cook the chicken. Now, you can cook the chicken in the oven, you can cook it in an air fryer, you can boil it on the stove, whatever you want to do. Personally, I like to cook it in this pressure cooker. Two reasons. One, it's going to break that meat up really well. Two, it's a whole lot faster. It just cuts out one step. So this is pretty simple. I'm going to put a whole chicken in the pressure cooker. I've got 2 quarts of water. I probably won't use all of it. Got a handful of green onions. I'm just going to throw those in there. And this is a cut of leek. If you don't have any leeks, don't worry about it. You can add it or don't add it. It just adds a little flavor. To that, I'm going to add a little salt, pepper, and garlic. Just probably about a tablespoon. And then about a teaspoon each of sage, thyme, and last but not least, oregano. On that, I'm just going to pour enough water to cover the chicken about halfway. It doesn't need to be fully submerged, because what a pressure cooker does, it doesn't need that much water. I'm going to go ahead and set this on high to get it started. If you've never used a pressure cooker, by all means, don't try this until you've at least read the instructions. And then we'll come back when the chicken's cooked. Just a quick thought. The best thing about cooking this in a pressure cooker the way I'm doing is that I'm going to do all of this in one pan. The only thing that's actually not going to happen in this pan is taking the chicken apart. Because once this chicken is done, which it's been a half an hour, it's really not going to be much longer, I'm going to debone it and then put the meat back into this broth and add my noodles and everything else and cook it right there. If you don't do it that way, you're going to have to do this in multiple pots. That's okay. But the greatest thing about this is I'm making chicken stock while I'm cooking the chicken. And then I have the rest of my ingredients ready. So let's talk about those. We're going to need some vegetables. Now, you can use raw vegetables and cut them up and do all of that yourself, and that's fine. But I'm doing this the fast and easy way. So a bag of frozen vegetables. I'm not even going to use half of this. Then I'm going to need some noodles. Now, you can make your own if you like, but we're going to do this the fast, easy way. And these are awesome egg noodles, and the bag does the trick. I'm going to need some heavy cream. Doesn't take a whole lot. And some sour cream. And last but not least, a little salt and pepper. That's really all there is to this. It's super easy. Okay, so the chicken has had time to cool. All the heat has come down from the pressure cooker. Top's finally off. And I'm going to take the chicken out, hopefully without dropping it everywhere. We're going to set that to the side because we're going to pull the meat off the chicken. Meanwhile, my broth is greatly reduced, as you can see. So I'm going to make sure there's no chicken fat stuck to the bottom. Strain that, and then get ready to put noodles in here and cook it. All right, pot's ready. I'm going to scrape that little bit of fat that is still stuck to the bottom of the pan off of there. I'm just going to pull that out of the bottom. I don't mind a little bit of it being in there, but I don't want a giant chunk. And meanwhile, I have strained this. I'm not going to use that anymore. Here's the stock. It's going to go back in the pot. We'll add a little water to that and boil our noodles. So I don't need a lot of water added to this. I mean, I've got good chicken stock here. We certainly don't want to waste it. But I'm going to add about a cup of water just to thin it a little bit. Bring that heat to a boil, and then I'll put my noodles in there. Meanwhile, we have to pull apart the chicken. So I've got my heat at medium. I've dumped that entire bag of noodles in here, and I'm going to let them start cooking and absorbing some of this liquid. If they get up to a good boil, you want to bring that down because you really want to keep this at a simmer. After they've had about 5 or 6 minutes to simmer, we're going to go ahead and start adding some vegetables to this and then start putting the chicken back in. Okay, our noodles that are at a nice consistency now. A lot of that liquid has been absorbed. Those are about perfect. So what we want to do is go ahead and add some of the vegetables. And I just cut a small slit in this bag because I don't want to dump the whole bag in there. Maybe half at most. Okay. And then we're just going to stir those in. And I'm using tongs so that I can make sure there's nothing stuck as I do that. The vegetables are already cooked. They're just frozen, so they don't need to sit in there very long. This is my chicken, pulled off the bones, ready to go. You notice there's some broth in there as well. We're just going to dump that whole thing right into the pot and stir it around as well. Now, if you don't want this creamy, you're probably done. Me, on the other hand, I like some cream in my chicken and noodles. So what we're going to do is take first sour cream. And I need about a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons. And then some heavy cream. Probably, maybe up to about 4 ounces, 4 to 6 at the most. And then I'm going to stir that together. Now that cream is going to cool everything down very quickly, but here's what it looks like. So now I'm going to let this come up to heat. You may have to add a little more water or a little more cream depending on the thickness and what the consistency you want is. For me, that's about right. I just need it to come up to heat and not scorch the cream. So I'm going to turn that up to medium and leave it alone for just a few minutes. Okay, a couple of quick reminders. As you're bringing this back up to temperature, make sure you are occasionally stirring it so that nothing is getting stuck, and especially so your cream doesn't burn on the bottom of the pan. Other than that, it doesn't take but just a few minutes. Once you get up to temperature, grab a spoon and taste test to see if you need any additional seasoning, salt, pepper, garlic, whatever. I added just a hint of salt, pepper, and garlic and a little bit of sage. That's it. And it's done. And you can see it didn't take very long. And there it is. I'm going to dish some up so you can see what it looks like. I'm going to get it off the heat. There is the finished product. Didn't take long. The longest part, of course, is cooking the chicken and pulling it apart. Everything else is really fast. This is easy. It's fantastic. It is absolutely one of those comfort food dishes in the wintertime that just makes people happy. It's going to make me happy in a minute. One thing you can add to this if you want to dress it up a little bit when you serve it, a little mozzarella cheese or cheddar cheese. That's fine. Shredded cheese just kind of brings out the flavor. Mozzarella is my preferred, but use what you like. That's it. You can do this. I promise you, you can do this. As always, if there's something you'd like me to make, leave me a comment, send me an email, bill@kansasflamingochef.com. Eat and drink fabulous, and I'll see you on the next one.